Hi, everyone. In this little clip, I want to just continue talking around carbohydrates and how they actually can make one fat, because we always think of the fact that fat is what's in the food that makes one fat. And it's been a bit of a myth that if you eat too much fat, you get fat. And I mean, it makes sense, but actually, unfortunately, physiologically, it's just not true. And in fact, people have even done experiments by eating too much fat but cutting out sugars, and didn't gain much weight. The problem with the body is that, in fact, it's the sugar that we eat, the carbohydrates, foods that release a lot of sugar. Carbohydrates, like just normal sugar, is a carbohydrate. Grains like bread, cereals, biscuits, cakes, they contain a lot of carbohydrates. Some of them have added sugars. Some of them just contain carbohydrates in and of themselves. Fruit contains a lot of carbohydrates. So the foods that we eat, in fact, the sugars that are released from the foods are, in fact, what really starts to make us fat. And I'll explain that a little bit. So what happens is when you eat a lot of sugar, your body has to look after it, control it, and store it somewhere. And for the most part, if it's small amounts, it'll get stored as something called glycogen. It'll get stored in the liver, and some of it will get stored in the muscle, and some will get converted to fat. But what happens is when you have too much sugar coming in, your liver actually starts to get overloaded and starts converting much of it into fat, and gets pushed also into cells. Now, the hormone that actually pushes sugar into cells is called insulin, and that hormone is released from the pancreas. And what we've found over many years of understanding, for instance, what causes diabetes, is that high insulin levels are the real problem. And insulin is, we would call it, the technical name is an anabolic hormone. It grows things, and that hormone actually grows fat. So the more insulin you have around, the more fat you tend to grow. And the thing that really stimulates insulin the most is, in fact, sugars, carbohydrates. And so it stands to reason the more carbohydrates you eat, the more insulin you'll produce, the more fat you'll make, and the cycle continues over and over again. And over a long period of time, for many people, they can control their sugar levels for maybe years on time, 20, 30 years, but eventually eating all that sugar from fruit juices, from cool drinks, from yogurts, and other sources of sugar like sweets, eventually it catches up with one, and the weight starts to grow, and you often see people with a lot of weight, and that then slowly packs on and gets, especially around the abdomen. We call it visceral fat, the abdominal fat, where the tummy is, and you get this sort of belly fat. So it's really the carbohydrates that are causing us to be fat, not really so much the fat that we eat. So anyway, that was just a little clip for you to kind of understand what really makes us fat, and hope that's helpful.